Today's vlog is going to be called The Good, the Bad and the Ugly of Formula 1 in 2018. So let's start with the good. I mean, oh my goodness, there is so much good to look forward to in 2018. I'm already really excited and it's only just the beginning of January. I can't wait to see how close the top teams are. Because whenever you get a set of stable regulations that don't change too much from year to year, like we've had now with this hybrid era for the last few years, the performance of the top teams starts to converge. So the engine manufacturers are all starting to become within a few percent of each other in terms of performance levels. We saw it last year, of course, with Ferrari getting very close to Mercedes, at least in the first half of the season. So I hope we see the next step from Ferrari and we see a really close battle at the front. What about if Renault can join that mix as well? What about if we get a three-way battle? What about if Red Bull are really in the mix? Who would not love to see Max Verstappen versus Lewis Hamilton? Come on, Wilson. Two new big brands in Formula 1, Aston Martin and Alfa Romeo. I think that's a big positive for the sport. And I'm interested to see what they do, particularly Aston, who sound like they're looking to get more involved than just be a title partner. We had Andy Palmer on our Sky show at the end of last season, and he sort of hinted towards the fact that even the Red Bull car might have a nod towards Aston Martin on it in terms of its livery. Could we see something with the British Racing Green running around? We've got one more year of Kimi Raikkonen on the radio. Can't wait for that. We've got a new Grand Prix. The French Grand Prix is back. Being a technical sort, I always really look forward to the start of a new season when it comes to unveiling the new cars in pre-season testing, just to see what the designers have come up with, how they've interpreted the rules, and see if anyone's found that magic golden bullet that they're all desperately looking for over the winter. You'll find that lots of these vlog posts are all done on dog walks, because it's my favourite time of the day. It's also the quietest part of the day. When you live in a house or a family with 4 children, a wife and a dog, there aren't too many quiet moments to sit down and get on with work very easily. So these dog walks are like I think they're partly my favourite time of the day, but they're also definitely the easiest to get on with something like this. And I also am so lucky to live, look where I live, look at this is just so beautiful, and this is right on my doorstep. I will never take this for granted. I know how lucky I am. For that reason I enjoy coming out and exploring it with Wilson. McLaren. I cannot wait for McLaren's comeback. In fact, let's not call it a comeback.
Don't call it a comeback!
Let's call it the rejuvenation of McLaren. Look, they got a Renault engine, the Renault powertrain this year. I know that's not a Mercedes or a Ferrari, but that is going to catapult them up the grid, and that is something that I am desperately looking forward to seeing. I know a lot of you are, because I hear messages and see messages on social media all the time from everybody asking when McLaren are going to be back. Look, I think we could see McLaren back at the top, fighting for pole positions, even race wins in 2018 with that Renault power unit. Renault, as an engine supplier, are perhaps the organisation that have had the biggest and fastest growth. And of course, don't forget they've won races. They have won races in the back of a Red Bull. So this is not an engine that's not capable of winning. That's what we want to see. We want to see the best teams fighting at the top. And McLaren, my McLaren, are definitely one of the best. The thing that people at home need to realise is that, sorry, I'm out of breath. I've only just climbed a few steps. God, I need to get fit. I need to get back into running in 2018. Anyway, what you need to realise is that when a team like McLaren is struggling so much the way they have with that Honda power unit, it just directly translates into more work for the guys behind the scenes, because they're forever pulling the engines in and out, they're forever desperately searching for ways to make the car go quicker and overcome the problems that it's got. So it's not just disappointing and depressing because the results are bad, it actually means they're working twice as hard as most of the other teams, just in terms of physical labour. They need a break. I really want them to get a break. I mean, that's quite a mouth-watering prospect. Fernando Alonso challenging for race wins with Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. Yes, please. post-Eccleston era. What will the next phase bring? Last year I think Liberty Media brought in some good changes, small detail changes. Wilson, come here! Yeah, look, they made some good changes last year. Lots of small details, but I think things that were all taken positively, certainly within the paddock. Made a few changes there with the way that things like digital social media operates from within the teams and the drivers, giving them more freedom to post and create content from inside that fortress that is the Formula 1 paddock. I think fans generally took what they did in a positive sense as well. I think in 2018 we're going to start seeing the unveiling of new race venues, which is very exciting. Wilson, wait there! Destination cities they keep talking about. Street. Wilson, wait! Wait! City centre races, who knows where they're going to start going. Wilson, wait! Such a disobedient dog. Wait. There's going to be new on-screen graphics, new over-the-top digital streaming services for some territory. These are huge steps forward for Formula 1. Social media, we're already seeing dramatic changes. F1 was one of the largest growing sporting social media and digital channels over 2017. In fact, the largest, just ahead of Formula E, incidentally. So it's the fastest growing area and almost an untapped market for Liberty to start exploiting, and I think they're doing that already. Hopefully lots more of that to come in 2018.
So many big songs. So if you want to watch Sam Smith on his UK tour and have your very own personalised disc.
There's actually not too much to go on the bad list for Formula 1 in 2018, is it? I'm not one of these people who subscribes to this, you know, knee-jerk reaction to perceived problems theory that we have had in recent years in Formula 1. Think back to the qualifying debacle a couple of years ago and how tragic that was for the sport. I don't think there's too much wrong with the Formula 1 product. Yes, there are things like we could be tweaking the aerodynamics of the cars so that they can follow each other more closely, potentially make overtaking easier. That's a longer term problem, or certainly a longer term solution they're already looking at. I'd like to see less grid penalties this year, but we've already made tweaks to the regulations to try and prevent that. I'd be amazed if many people, maybe even if any people, perhaps outside of Mercedes, can stick to the 3 engine per season rule, 3 power units per season. How many grid penalties did we end up with in 2017? And that was with 4 units per car. This is going to be tough, and if we end up with a season just full of penalties, moving back places on the grid, just because they can't get their power units to last for 3 races, it's not going to shed the sport in a good light. We had some fantastic races in 2017. Yes, we had some that were slightly more dull, but you're going to get that in any championship on any given year. Tyres. Pirelli have now got 9 different compounds. 9 different tyre choices for the teams to choose from in 2018. It's too many, too confusing. Why don't we just have 2 simple choices to make? It's the same for everybody. Performance window can be wide so they can work in all different conditions. Just give people 2 choices at every Grand Prix and be done with it. Keep it simple. Overall, we've got a good product. I just think it needs a little bit of tweaking here and there, and all the signs that we've seen so far from Liberty Media are pretty positive. So let's not worry too much about the bad. The good is what we should be focusing on.
Oh no, you broke the motorbike.
Sorry, right, have a good day. Love you.
Oh, we can park in the
Say goodbye to your sister and brother.
Bye.